Alexa, define addicted.
Addicted. Physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop without incurring adverse effects. Devoted to. Fixated on. Obsessed with. A slave to.
Devices. They're everywhere. In every hand, pocket, and purse, there's an entire world at your fingertips. We check our phones an average of 80 times a day. We stare and drool and stare at our screens for little over 11 hours a day. That's 9.5 hours more than just 4 years ago. But why? How did this become such a need in our first world everyday life? With this growing amount of screen time, when do we hit our limit? Will we hit our limit? Do we know when to stop? Are we all now addicted? To answer these questions, I went right to the source, and who better to ask than my siblings? Okay, ready?
I'm Sarah, and I'm a sophomore.
Do you remember a time without smartphones?
Yes, vaguely. I think in 3rd grade, that's when Mom got her first the iPhone 3.
How often do you check your phone, would you say?
I mean, I have like this thing that tells me how long I've like an average, and it's 6 to 8 hours a day. That's how long I stay on my phone.
Do you think that's a healthy amount?
Probably not.
No.
I use my phone for pretty much social media and talking to people, and sometimes games, because I'm a 16-year-old girl. I get bored. I wake up, and the first thing I look at is my phone. And then I turn on music, then I get ready, and then I look at my phone maybe once before I go downstairs, and then I make my lunch, and then I leave, and I'm in the car.
Do you check your phone a lot at school?
Yes. Even when I'm not supposed to. Don't tell Mom. I view technology, like some cases, it can be a good thing. Like curing cancer or some devices. I mean, there's some things that I probably would not think that they're good for, but yeah, there's some potential to them.
Do you think you're addicted to your phone?
I just said I was on my phone for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Do you think that's a bad thing?
Probably.
Okay, ready?
Whenever I get home, usually I get a snack and then I come up to my room and play video games.
How long do you play video games for?
It depends on the day, usually like 2 hours-ish. If Mom and Dad didn't control how long I play video games for, I'd usually play like 3 or 4 hours.
How many hours like altogether do you think you've played on those games though?
Oh, on Overwatch there's an hour counter on the top right, and it says like 320 hours. But I've been playing it for 2.5 years, so.
Why do you like video games?
Why? Because they're fun to play.
Do you think you're addicted to technology?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Do you think you could live without it?
No.
Do you think it's a bad thing that you can't live without it?
Yeah.
So, you can.
Okay. All right. I'm Hannah Musson, and I am 23 years old.
Describe growing up with the development of smartphones and technology.
Honestly, it's kind of like interesting seeing it all evolve as much as it has so quickly, because I remember being like a kid and the only thing that we had was like our dinosaur computer with Windows 98 running, and like we had maybe like 3 CD-ROM games that we could play, and like that it's just kind of wild seeing it progress to how huge it's gotten, and it's like a part of our daily lives like all the time. I mean, I definitely am on some sort of device, like at least like, I don't even know, like all the time, like every single day. I mean, it's definitely a lot more than what I used to as a kid.
Do you think younger kids use smartphones too much?
I would say, yeah, like absolutely, because I remember being a kid and like going out and exploring with my family, like outside, or like going and just doing things instead of sitting around like playing video games or on your phone or anything like that. Like I remember being a lot more like into doing things more, if that makes any sense at all.
Do you think you're addicted to your devices?
I mean, not as much as a lot of people, because I can still put it down and carry conversations with people, and like I can hang out with my family or friends without having it with me.
Do you think you could live without it?
Probably. Honestly, like I don't think it's that much of a necessity. As like, I'd probably need something like, you know, like an email or things like that, like just basic connection, so that way I could, you know, connect with people and see like important things that I need to see, like school emails or something like that. But I mean, I don't really use social media a whole lot, so I don't think I'm addicted to it in that sort of a sense. I just need it for communication, I feel like.
Do you think it's a bad thing that you can't live without being connected all the time?
It's probably bad, because I feel like I'd be a lot more comfortable with doing, like being alone and being by myself, and then like I feel like I do put my time towards a lot more things instead of just constantly wanting to talk to people all the time.
That's it. That's all I needed. Woo! So what does this all mean for us? How do we put down the phones long enough to open our eyes to the real world? I wish I had the answers, I really do, but as a 20-year-old with an iPhone dependency, I don't really think it's my right to say. What I do know, though, is that it's good to unplug and rewind for a little while. We might not be able to live without our pocket computers anymore, but a couple of hours of being off the grid won't hurt you. You don't have to be wired in 24/7. You don't have to lose control. You don't have to be a slave.